Good day everyone. Welcome to Earth and Life Science subject. I am Lyn Norombaba. You can call me Teacher Lyn or Ma'am Lyn. And to this video, we're going to learn about Earth and Earth's subsystem. Now, let us know first our objectives. First, recognize the uniqueness of Earth being the only planet in the solar system with properties necessary to support life. Second, identify the layers of the Earth, which is the crust, mantle, and core. Last, explain that the Earth consists of 4 subsystems across its boundaries, matter, and energy flow. Now, what's inside the Earth? What are we walking on? The Earth is divided into 4 main layers: the inner core, outer core, mantle, and crust. Now, what is the Earth crust? It is like the skin of an apple. It is very thin compared to other layers. It makes up 100% of the Earth, and the crust of the Earth is broken into many pieces called plates. Let's move on to the second layer, which is the mantle. It is the layer below the crust. The mantle is the largest layer of the Earth, and it is also divided into 2 regions, the upper and lower section. Next is the inner core. The inner core is a solid outer core. The outer core of the Earth is like a ball of very hot metals. The outer core is liquid and made of iron and is very dense. Now, how are the Earth layers similar to an egg? Well, the shell is the crust, the egg white is the mantle, and the yolk is the core. Let's move on to Earth's 4 subsystems. The Earth's first 4 spheres are the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. The main components of the Earth system. What is Earth system? The Earth system is itself an integrated system, but it can be subdivided into 4 main components, subsystem or spheres. Like I said earlier, one of these is the geosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. These components are also systems in their own right, and they are tightly interconnected. Interconnected means they work together. The 4 main components of the Earth system may be described briefly in the following way. Geosphere. Let us define geosphere. It is the part of the planet composed of rocks and minerals. It includes the solid crust, the molten mantle, and the liquid and solid parts of the Earth's core. In many places, the geosphere develops a layer of soil in which nutrients become available to living organisms, on which thus provides an important ecological habitat and the basis of many forms of life. Geo means earth, so Geosphere, also called lithosphere. Without geosphere, there would be no Earth, isn't it? The next subsystem is the atmosphere. What is atmosphere? It is the gaseous layer surrounding the Earth and held to its surface by gravity. The atmosphere receives energy from the solar radiation, which warms the Earth's surface, and is re-emitted and conducted to atmosphere. In addition, the atmosphere contains substances that are essential for life, including the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. The structure of the atmosphere is classified into 5 layers. One of these is the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, troposphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. This is the picture of troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Let's define troposphere. Troposphere is the closest to the Earth's surface and contain water vapor such as clouds, moisture, dust, and etc. Next, most of the weather phenomena takes place in the troposphere. The height of the troposphere varies at the equator. It is measured about 18 km and at the poles it is 12 km. Troposphere is the transitional zone that separates troposphere and stratosphere. Next, the stratosphere. The stratosphere is the second lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere that goes up about to 50 km. The stratosphere contains the ozone layer that absorbs the ultraviolet rays coming through the sun rays and protects life on Earth. As the ultraviolet radiation absorbed in the stratosphere, therefore the temperature rises with increasing altitude. The stratosphere is the transitional zone that separates the stratosphere and mesosphere. Next, mesosphere. What is mesosphere? Mesosphere present above the stratosphere, extend from 50 to 80 km. The temperature in the mesosphere decreases with increasing altitude. Mesosphere is the transitional zone that separates mesosphere and thermosphere. Now, next is the thermosphere. What is thermosphere? Above the mesosphere, thermosphere is the second highest layer that starts at the altitude of 80 km and extends up to 700 km. However, it varies between 500 and 1000 km. The lower part of the thermosphere, 80 km and 550 km, contains ion and known as ionosphere. The temperature of the thermosphere rises with increasing altitude. Thermopause is the transitional zone that separates thermosphere and exosphere. Last is the exosphere. Exosphere, what is it? It is the highest or outermost layer of the Earth's atmosphere that extends starting from 700 km altitude up to 1000 km, where it is ultimately merged into the solar wind. The major constituents of the exosphere are the helium, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. The phenomena of auroral variance merged with upper part of the thermosphere. This is the structure of the atmosphere from troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and the exosphere. Now, let's move on to the second subsystem of the Earth, which is the hydrosphere. What is hydrosphere? Hydrosphere consists of this part of the Earth composed of water, and it's liquid, gaseous, and solid phase. The hydrosphere includes the earth, ocean, and seas. The hydrosphere includes both saltwater and freshwater systems, and it includes the moisture found in the soil water, and within rocks, groundwater. Water is essential for the existence and maintenance of life on Earth. In some classification, the hydrosphere is subdivided into the fluid water system and rhizosphere, the ice system. Hydro means water. So, water is one of the most important subsystem in life because without water, life would not be possible. Last is the biosphere. Bio means life. This contains all living organisms and it is intimately related to other spheres. Most living organisms require gases from the atmosphere, water from the hydrosphere, and nutrients and minerals from the geosphere. A living organism also required a medium for life and are adapted to inhabit one or more of the other spheres. However, much of the biosphere is contained within shallow surface layer comprising the lower part of the atmosphere, the surface of the geosphere, and approximately the upper 100 meters of the ocean. The humans are part of the biosphere, although they are increasingly responsible for the creation of systems. They may be large artificial such as cities. Now for your assessment about our topic Earth and Earth subsystem. Number 1, this is identification. You have to identify the following. First, it is the only planet known to have large amount of liquid water. Liquid water is essential for life. Next, it is the boundary between the past and the mental. Now, for your second activity, and along bent paper, draw and create your own symbol for each sphere: geo, atmo, hydro, and bio. And then at the back of your paper, answer the question, why do you choose that symbols? Last activity, you have to label the diagram below and describe the term in your own words. Okay, thank you. That's all for today. See you next meeting.